I picked the Baltimore Ravens to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl as they should have last season. And I must admit, they constantly trouble me to the point I no longer trust my prediction. And if you know me, I rarely admit that publicly. The Ravens troubled me when they lost at home in week 2 to Gardner Minshew and the Raiders. That was 26-23. It was close, but they lost to the Raiders. They troubled me when Justin Tucker missed an easy 40-yard field goal that would have put them up 31-6 at Dallas, and then they barely held on to win 28-25. What? The Baltimore Ravens troubled me when they lost to Jameis Winston in Cleveland. It was 29-24. And they really troubled me yesterday when they found a way to lose. Heck, they actually found several ways to lose to an inferior Pittsburgh Steelers team in Pittsburgh. That was 18-16. So they opened by losing by 7 at Kansas City. No shame there. Almost pulled it out in the end. Came within a toenail of pulling it all out on the last-ditch touchdown pass that I thought Lamar had thrown to force overtime. So they've barely lost 4 games. But I have no choice but to keep saying to you here, something is missing. And I keep reading social media posts from Ravens fans saying, John Harbaugh must go. So mostly I dismiss these fans as big Lamar fans looking for the quickest, easiest excuse for why Lamar has stunk in the last 3 losses that should not have happened. I mean, yesterday, to me, Lamar was shockingly bad. He came into this game with a career-high completion percentage. And at Pittsburgh, he goes 16 of 33. That's not even 50% for a grand total of 207 yards. Some of them, most of them late, a big chunk of them late. He did run 4 times for 46 yards, and I kept saying, why not run him more? I know they're trying to save him, play the long game with him, but Steelers couldn't stop that. Well, why not more of that, Todd Monken? Are you the issue here? Why wasn't he able to complete balls to wide receivers? I mean, 2 went to Flowers and 2 went to Bateman. Got my list here. Deontay Johnson was a sweet pickup, the ex-Steeler. He had 2 targets, no catches yesterday. Tylan Wallace, who always rises and shines late for them, caught 1 ball for 8 yards. Mark Andrews, security blanket for Lamar, caught 2 for 22. Likely had the most targets, 5. He caught 4 for 75, so that worked. But you got all that wide-out talent, and you can't connect with it. I don't get it. So I'm going to give you this. It's possible that a 2-time MVP that I've had in stretches this year, winning a second straight to go to 3 MVPs, maybe Lamar Jackson just needs a change of coaching scenery at some point pretty soon. Maybe he needs a new voice in his ear and in the locker room. Maybe the Harbaugh-Lamar partnership just hasn't been wildly productive or successful enough. So I look at firing Jim Harbaugh, 17 seasons. He's 167 and 103 in the regular season. That's pretty great. He's 12-10 as John Harbaugh in the postseason. Not bad. But that 1 Super Bowl he won was off the 2012 season. It was a long time ago. It's Aaron Rodgers, Mike McCarthy-esque. Since that Super Bowl, John Harbaugh has coached the Ravens to only 1 AFC championship game, which was last year's, which they blew at home to Mahomes. So since the Super Bowl, John Harbaugh is 3-6 in the postseason, And that's in large part because Lamar, they go hand in hand, is 2-4 in the postseason, which just won't get it done. So maybe at some point it's going to be time to move on from John Harbaugh. I don't know. It astounded me that yesterday against your arch division rival that the Ravens just weren't ready to play. Justin Tucker is losing it. He's starting to go south. He is no longer the GOAT kicker. He missed 2 more field goals yesterday before he did hit the one from, 52 in the second half. Not bad. But 3 Ravens turnovers to just 1 for Russ and company. It just won't hack it, won't get it done. 12 penalties for John Harbaugh's team for 80 yards just won't get it done. 4 of 16 on third down won't work. The Baltimore Ravens, the best offense in the National Football League, lost the time of possession 36-24 to a Russell Wilson who really can't move the way he used to and gets away with throwing a lot of what I call moon balls. He knows how to throw them, when to throw them, where to throw them, but he gets away with them until he tried one into the back of the end zone yesterday that got intercepted and kept Lamar and company in the game. But Lamar and company got beaten by Chris Boswell making all 6 of his field goals. No touchdowns, just 6 field goals. Beat the Ravens at Pittsburgh. So I have to ask, should I frame this with Mike Tomlin just having Lamar's number? I mean, Lamar is now 1-4 against Pittsburgh. He's lost 4 straight to Pittsburgh. He's lost 3 in a row at Pittsburgh. I don't get it. Lamar had no answer for it after the game because this is the guy I had for stretches as this year's MVP who looked so lost yesterday, so discombobulated, so desperate, so out of sync, so unpoised. It just hurt my eyes to try to watch him because usually, as I always say about Lamar, he is the ultimate warrior, the ultimate gamer, the ultimate baller. No one can just flat out take over a football game with his arm and his legs and his will, with his physicality. No one can do it more sensationally than a Lamar Jackson. There's just something missing here. Inexplicably missing here, but I'm going to hang in. I have no choice. I'm going to see if Lamar and John Harbaugh can figure it out. Ravens are 7-4. It's not awful. It's not end of the world. Next up, a week from tonight, we've got John Harbaugh at Jim Harbaugh. That will not be easy. Then it's Eagles at Baltimore. I was thinking when the season started this would be my Super Bowl preview because I picked Eagles over Ravens. Won't be easy. Then it's at New York Giants. Should be easy. Then it's Steelers at home. You got to get revenge there. Then it's at Houston. Then it's Browns. But I will say this. If the Ravens that I picked don't take off, they could, they should, but if they don't, if they do fall apart, if all these bad signs suddenly come together to equal disaster, which often happens in this league, you can see the signs, see it coming. If they do somehow fall apart, and let's say they miss the playoffs, then yes, Ravens fans, I'd be with you. Then John Harbaugh should not see an 18th season in Baltimore, Maryland.